fear is everything, isn't it? When you look at human beings, if you want to look at something in which you see saturation, you can see it in fear. It's everywhere. It's the way in which the mind controls beings. It's the way in which it controls the not self. It fills it full of all of those fears that arise out of its openness, out of its conditioning. And those fears end up being the bedrock upon which the mental decisions are made that leads to the confusion in life. It's all about fear. And when you look at the body graph, you see that we have three centers, awareness centers, that are fear centers. We have the primary fears that are there in the splenic center. We have this nervousness that's there in the emotional frequency, but in the ajna center, where we understand the sense of what we call mind, the ajna center is about anxiety. There is so much mental anxiety. There is so much mental fear in humanity. It's enormous. And you really need to understand the way in which your mind is designed to operate when you're not self. You look at your chart, look at anything that's open in your chart. Your mind is going to use that against you. If you have an open splenic center, you hold on to things that aren't good for you. That's the not self theme, and the mind is going to use that with you. Somebody tells you, well, you should better get rid of that. And you go, no, I can't. I have to hold on to that thing, because if I don't, I'm afraid, because I'll lose this, or I'll miss that, or I won't have this, or whatever the case may be. The decision-making of the not-self mind is ruled by its anxieties, its deep fears. Now, you see, there's nothing wrong with fear in and of itself. Without fear, there is no intelligence. But it is not about fear ruling your life in terms of how you make a decision. Afraid to say yes, afraid to say no. It isn't about your mind. It's never about your mind. And you see, when you begin to make decisions through your strategy and authority, through what is your form principle, you leave all that behind. Those anxieties, those fears, they grow and they grow and they grow with the dysfunction of the personality's life. If you turn that around, it all changes. We're not here to be lost in our fears. You're not here to be manipulated by fear. You're not. Trust in your strategy and authority. Learn to see that you can trust yourself without fear. And in that trust, without fear, well, you can learn to love yourself. It's quite a thing.
Got a dream in a tear last night, watched the world fade out of sight. Seen the ghost of time preside, eagles soared and falcons cried. Sleeping